So it doesn't happen very often, but every now and then I see an ad for something a bunch of times, and it's enough that it makes me actually go out and buy the thing. And that's what happened this week. I have been seeing ads for these coloring books, and they're not a reverse coloring book. They're not a normal coloring book. They're somewhere in between. I've seen a lot of these like tracing coloring books, and it's kind of like that, but basically you get, this is the book I'm talking about. Sorry. This is the Inkalia Dragons by Chroma Ink Editions. And as you can see on the front here, it's got colors in here already, and then it leaves a bunch of like white space in there, and the white space is what you're supposed to fill in with your ink pen. So on the back here, it's got a before and after picture, so you can see before there's no black lines, and then after you've got all the black lines and all the colors all filled in and everything. And so at the end you've got this cute little drawing that you kind of helped make. So here's an example of one, and this is, they call this their travel edition, which I wasn't really sure what it meant, but on the back it basically says, the Traveler's Edition is more than a coloring book. It's a creative companion designed to travel, inspire, and be shared. Spread joy and reduce stress through mindful art. Complete a page, then leave the book in a cafe, train, hostel, or airport for someone else to discover. No colors, no pressure, just your pen, your creativity, and a world to share it with. I'm probably not going to be doing that, but I thought it would be interesting to just kind of open this up and try some drawings out in here just to see if it's something that is actually relaxing, just to see if this is AI generated art, just to kind of get a feel for what this thing is and if it's something that I would like to do more, and to give you guys an idea of what these things actually are, kind of what the quality is. I will say I did look at this and I don't see any artist's name on here anywhere, which makes me a little bit suspicious because, you know, if I were the artist that did the pieces in here, I would definitely want credit. I have not looked that closely at the images inside to see if they look like they have been AI generated. Alright, I'm going to put you here right now while we take a peek inside the book just to kind of get an idea of what this thing looks like on the inside, so we can figure out if this is something that is legit or if it's AI, or kind of what we think about it. Nothing terribly interesting here. If you want to pause and read, feel free to read it. But this is like what the spreads typically look like. This says, no need to think, just trace and feel. Return to yourself one line at a time. So each of these kind of have a little different little saying. And like I said, the idea that the book said was to kind of fill something in, and then you can fill in your information about like who did this, so that you can kind of pass it off to other people. And you can see here, let me go ahead and zoom you in a little bit so you can see a little bit better what's going on here. So you can see here there's a lot of color in here. There's already a few black lines, but the white lines are where you're supposed to fill in with your pen to try and kind of make a drawing here. I do see lots of random lines in places that don't exactly make sense to me, especially like on the fingers and the toes and stuff here. And it just kind of makes it feel a little bit messy and sketchy, but I'm sure that that's what they're going for, because if you look on the front here, you can see that it's definitely kind of got this very messy, sketchy feel, almost like cobwebby feel to it, which may very well be just kind of their way of hiding the fact that this is AI generated. It's so hard to tell, but like I said, there's no artist information in here, so it makes you wonder when you're looking at this. Anytime that you see something like that, it raises suspicion in my mind of whether somebody actually created this or whether this is just AI generated stuff that they are just trying to sell. Like this one here, it's got this little scribble up here, which I don't understand what that is. It doesn't exactly make sense to me. So we're gonna do one of these and just kind of see what we think about it, see how it feels, see if it's fun to do. I don't really know. There's a lot of lines to fill in on all of these, so it's probably going to take me a while to finish any of them. I mean, they're pretty, you know, and it wasn't terribly expensive, so it's worth trying, but I don't know if it's AI or not. It didn't say anything about being AI generated. I bought this on Amazon. There was definitely nothing in there to say that it was AI generated, which I think they have to do, but I don't know. So let's go ahead and get you set up so you can see like how this looks to work in here, and we can kind of talk about how it feels and whether this is worth your time or money. Alrighty, so this one seems like there's not quite as many lines. This is the same one that was on the front cover. So we're just going to kind of get into this and see what it feels like, see if this is fun or not, if it makes any sense, that sort of thing. So let's just go ahead and get started. We'll just kind of start filling in lines here. Like there's some definitely very thick lines and some very thin lines here. Yeah. Some of this is definitely not making a lot of sense in terms of line work. There's lots of extra lines in here, that sort of thing. I'm looking at these eyes here and I'm having a really hard time trying to, yeah, they're not that much better on the front here. trying to figure out what goes where, because part of the problem is the lines being in white on top of a really thin color, the lines being in white on top of a very light color makes it really hard to see what you're supposed to do. And part of me is like, well, should I do all of the white lines? Or some of those supposed to be just left in there as white lines? It's just not clear at all. And I suppose, you know, that means that as the artist, I can kind of make that call, but with all of these lines in here, it's just really hard to kind of make any decision on like what any of this actually is, and really know if I'm doing it right, I guess, or if I'm just messing it up. See, like this part here, this is so light. It's really hard to know what I'm supposed to be filling in and what I'm supposed to be leaving blank. I just don't know. There's so many lines here. Like, look at this. Look at this foot. There's so many lines in there that like it makes no sense at all. Like, what in the world is that supposed to be? Like 500 lines in there? Really? Like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I don't know, am I just supposed to fill this in? Because that doesn't look good. There's like a million lines there too. And it just looks sloppy. Ugh. And like I said, you can't even like see some of these lines very well because it's so light. So I'm just kind of making stuff up a little bit here because I'm just not sure what else to do. I guess there's a hand here. There's an arm that comes out here, but I don't understand what's going on there. It's just such slop. You can't tell what any of this is. It's just scribbles. Like, there's just so many just random scribbles in here. You can't follow along with your pen. Yeah. I mean, it might look cool when it's done, maybe. But it's not relaxing. Because as I'm sitting here doing this, I'm just like, well, what am I doing? Where am I supposed to be putting lines? Am I doing this right? Is this going to turn out? Like, it's just... I mean, it looks kind of cool, but it's stressful. It's not relaxing. Because like I said, the lines are just so sloppy. I mean, why does he have spider webs hanging off from him? Like, that's what this looks like. This looks like he's got spider webs all over him. But he's not supposed to be creepy. He looks kind of cute, but he's got like all these little tangly bits everywhere. And I guess in a way it kind of makes it look like a loose sketch or something, but I don't know. I just... At least with like a reverse sketchbook, you're just kind of making stuff up, right? Like, you get the freedom to decide what goes where, what you're putting in there, that sort of thing. And so if things, you can make things look as clean as you want. You're a lot more in control, and you don't expect it to be kind of laid out for you. But here, because I'm supposed to be filling in the lines that they provided me, I'm expecting to be able to see the lines and copy the lines that they provided me. And when it's just a bunch of scribbles and it's a mess, it just... I don't know. It's not my thing. I'll just say that. I will say that if I had seen this in the store and picked it up and looked at it, I would have just put it back down. Because just looking at the lines in here, I would have immediately known that this was not something that I would enjoy doing, because, like I said, there's just so many lines in here that are just kind of scribbles that don't even make sense. Like, I've seen artists who kind of do like this cool, like, quick scribble type of thing in order to really get some action and fluidity to their pieces. But that's not what this looks like. This just looks super random. Yeah. I do not like it. And I mean, if it made sense in terms of shading or something like that, that would be different. But they're just like squiggly lines. They're not hatch marks. There's like all of these spider webby bits hanging off. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, none. Like, what is that? And why does he, like... There's all these little squiggles in here. I mean, I guess that's it. There's a lot more lines I could draw in here, because there's lots of just little lines here, but like, it's so hard to tell where I'm supposed to be putting lines and where I'm not. Ugh. This is not worth my time. I don't know about you guys, but this is not worth my time. Okay, I was honestly hoping that I would enjoy this and that this would be cool. I don't like it. I mean, I did the same one as the front here, and there's just so many little white scribbles all over the place. It's hard to tell where you're actually supposed to put lines and where you're not, especially when you have really light areas like this that have white inside of there. And because the scribbles don't really make a lot of sense, you're just going, wait, what? What am I supposed to be doing here? Is that supposed to be a texture? What is this? Like, it all just kind of looks spiderwebby. So like this one in particular, like look at all of the white lines in here. They're just looking very spiderwebby all over him, especially like down here. Like, look at all of this. It just looks like spiderwebs everywhere. And like all over his entire body, there's all these white lines. And they just don't make any sort of sense with regards to the image itself. So maybe I will leave this somewhere for someone else to enjoy, to discover, because it's definitely not something that is for me. Maybe you guys would like it, but I would save my money, in particular on these Chroma ink editions books. I have seen some others where there is tracing and they looked a little bit cleaner than this, but I would definitely kind of keep an eye on things, like look at them closely, see if you can find someone else who's had one before you spend your money on stuff like this, because this was not worth my money. It's unfortunate. Thankfully it wasn't terribly expensive. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.